Hey everybody, Travis Justice, Ross Peterson, halftime at the Big Ten Championship game, Ross, and the Hawks defense better in the second quarter, not giving up any points.
Yeah, Travis, but again, those big plays, kind of like that
Yep.
first quarter, I think you're going to be marking this game by those plays that just didn't go the Hawkeyes' way. And, whatever that is, I think Kirk Ferentz's famous line is that's football, right? The first quarter, we talked about the Monty Pottebaum touchdown that they missed. Second quarter, maybe it's that targeting penalty that got in a strange way reviewed, but then not called. That was the more I saw that, the more I was convinced that was a targeting penalty.
Well, even was the replay guy on Fox, right? He's like, well, that's going to be targeting, and it wasn't an ejectable one, but it was going to be one of those. Well, that's targeting, and then it wasn't. You're like, okay.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like it fit the letter of the law there, and I could hear. I did go. I got to hear Gary and Dolph a little bit, or Gary and Eddie a little bit, and Gary was even saying during halftime he's going to go find somebody to give them an explanation because they could not figure out how that didn't get called on the radio broadcast.
If I would have told you that the Hawks had 2 interceptions in the first half, I'm like, okay, they're sitting pretty good. That last interception, it's an interception, but it's not an interception because it ended that first half.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm out at my dad's house right now. I'm with my family, and my brother said the same thing right as I was coming back here to the bedroom to do this video with you. He said, "Hey, we have a really good winning percentage when we get 3 turnovers, and that's 2." So there is some truth to that, right? But I think there's more truth to what you're saying. That's a turnover in name only.
Yeah, very, very much so. A lot of people, I've made some people mad on Twitter. I have a tendency to do that. Yeah, big shocker, right? Well, because a lot of people are like, okay, when it's 3rd and 20, 3rd and 25, why are you running a draw play? Why are you running a screen? And I think Joel Klatt has done a very good job of explaining it. Iowa's offense is 123rd in the country. It's not built to go long. I mean, they're going to play the long game. It's a chess game. You shouldn't be – I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm just saying if you've watched enough Iowa football, that's going to be – especially when you're deep in your own territory, right? It's not – they're going to get out of it.
Travis, that's the bottom line. If you've watched enough Hawkeye football, you've come to expect this. Now,
yeah,
there have been some things that the Hawkeyes have done, or maybe we bash Brian Ferentz, maybe give Brian Ferentz credit. There have been some things Brian Ferentz has done today that have been very impressive. And early in the game, they did try to go up top, and Keegan Johnson did get that pass interference penalty. Some good things can happen when you try to put the ball up in the air, right? And so I think that's what some of those Hawkeye fans are seeing, Travis, is they're just hoping for once in a while again to try to put that ball up in the air in those positions. Now, the explanation I've always heard that I thought Kirk Ferentz gave is when you're in those positions of 3rd and 23, they're expecting you to pass. So you're going to have more success trying to run the ball in those positions. Now, when you're Kirk Ferentz, you've been doing it for 22 years, they know you're going to run the ball in those positions. But I think it is that last thing that you said there, man. This is Kirk Ferentz football, and we should be used to it as Hawkeye fans by now.
He stick with Petras in the 3rd and 4th quarter?
I mean, it depends on Gary and Ed said that Petras was going in to get checked out. I'm assuming that means Alex Padilla would have been the starter or would have been in this next drive had the Hawkeyes actually been able to capitalize on that interception. I don't know, Travis. I think that 100% depends on whether or not Spencer Petras can go. If he's healthy, if he's ready, if his head's clear, I think he's the guy that Kirk Ferentz decided at the beginning of this game, decided at the beginning of this week. He's the one of those two guys that has been in these positions. Won the game against Penn State.
Yep.
He's been in these positions a little bit. Nobody on that team has been in a Big Ten championship game, but I mean he's been in big games and big crowds. So if he's cleared, if he's ready to go, I think he's the guy that's out there again.
Iowa controlling the clock, 17-15 to 12:45. And Michigan had over 200 yards of total offense in the first quarter, just sitting there at 253 right now. So Iowa at 161. If they get to 300, over 300, that's a victory for Iowa. But they're still in this thing. They get the ball to start the third quarter, but you're gonna have to start. You got to get 3. You got to get some kind of points on this first drive, I think.
So here's my thought on this. Let's talk optimistic for a second here, okay? We've all been in this position as fans where your team is winning at halftime. You've got a comfortable lead maybe, and then the other team starts to chip away, and you start to grip. You start to go, oh, no, I don't want this to slip away. I don't want this to go. That's what can happen here. If the Hawks put a drive together, Travis, and they put points on the board here, and then they get a defensive stop, you're going to see a momentum shift in this game, and the Hawkeyes can ride that wave. Now, again, had the chance to do that very early on with that touchdown pass to Monty Potabom, and that didn't capitalize. And then you had a chance again, I think, even with that targeting penalty, that would have been one of those momentum chips that you'd have had on your side of the table, and it just didn't happen. So those are two of the things that we were thinking. If the Hawkeyes were going to win this game and pull off this kind of upset, it's tough to overcome a couple of dominoes not falling your way.
Chad says someone needs to tell Petrus to have other receivers than just Laporta. Listen, he's targeted Keegan Johnson quite a bit. Keegan's had some drops, and but he also drew the pass interference play too. So David says, I will lose this game if they don't figure that out. There is a first down marker to reach on 3rd and long. Please figure out a play that works instead of running the football. It's a chess game. It is a chess game.
Listen, I appreciate David's frustration on this, though, Travis. And I think this is a common frustration for Hawkeye fans because, like I was just saying, we were talking about it with my nephew who's sitting at the house with us tonight. My brother and I were both explaining to him because he said the same thing David just said. What are they doing? Why are they running a draw play on 3rd and 23? Why are they running a 3-yard pass play on 3rd and 7? That is such a frustrating thing for Hawkeye fans. And I mean, it's not. We can bitch about it. We can complain about it. It's not going to change.
No.
That's the style of football that Kirk Ferentz sees as the best method. I know it's frustrating. I completely agree with you.
Brian says, thanks, guys, for doing this. Love both of your radio shows. I'm a fan of both of yours.
Thank you, Brian.
You're a bigger fan of Ross. Everybody's a bigger fan of Ross because he's the Charterhouse Agent of the Year. I mean, you got a watch? Is that a Rolex?
No, it's not a Rolex, but it's a very nice watch.
See, and he's now living in a gated community in West Des Moines.
I'm literally sitting in my childhood bedroom. Okay, I mean,
John says, I think we need Padilla to see if he can get outside the pocket and make something happen. Listen, Petrus has been okay in play action. The targeting call he took off. That was a ballsy play, man.
Yeah, dude, I thought. I didn't.
The holding. The holding is what ruined that whole play. Yeah. That guy took off and sacrificed himself.
Yeah, and I didn't see the helmet to helmet, Travis. I thought Petrus maybe broke a rib. Man, he took a shot.
He did
at that. And from watching that first angle, it looked like it was a rib shot. Turned out to be a head shot. But yeah, I'm with you. I can't. I'm not going to kill Spencer Petrus. He's played a pretty good game. If Alex Padilla can come in and give this team a spark, then I'd be all for it. I don't know. I do think that Kirk Ferentz's mind will be made up based on whether or not Spencer Petrus can go.
A lot of people asking why I'm not in the studio tonight, and well, we do, and the reason is because we're going on at midnight. All right, I love hanging out with Ross and Sean, I really do, but we're not getting off the air till 2 a.m. And where I live and where the studio is about a 2-hour drive. So there's a reason I don't do this very often, and we don't like to do it. But it was just one of those things where it worked out why I'm not in the studio tonight. But I have a home studio, so it looks almost virtually the same as the WHO studio. And Ross is in his childhood basement. Did you ever sneak out those windows behind you?
Not basement. So here's the deal. I only lived here in this house for 1 year. When my mom and dad moved here when I was 18.
Oh, and you snuck out those windows.
No, I know, because dude, these are not. I'm not in the basement. I'm on a first floor here. So this is not, it's a weird setup. Okay. No, I never snuck out those windows. By the time I lived here, I could walk out the door. I don't think mom and dad were caring much. It was in the basement of this house that mom gave me the speech of, hey, get your poop in a group and figure out what you want to do with your life and quit living in my basement. So.
And just think, you didn't figure out what you want to do with your life till about a year ago.
Exactly right. And I'm still trying to figure it out. Come on.
All right, buddy. You gonna watch Third Quarter of the Family, or are you gonna go?
Yeah, we'll watch second half here with Dad, I think, and then. But I know Shawnee's doing the highlights and cutting those up for us. So big thanks to Sean for doing that. I like what Quantum Beat Bear Trap says here, man. Listen, I'm not giving up hope on this game yet. I'm really not. I do think special teams and defense are still going to have to win this game for us. They're going to have to make some big plays. And Keegan Johnson gets out and makes a big play at some point. Maybe Tyler Goodson does. I like it.
Read this one.
David, give me a call, brother. Love to help you out.
All right, he's Ross Peterson. I'm Travis Justice. Don't forget the Jethro's Barbecue Sound-Off coming up after the game on News Radio 1040 WHO. We are going to be on from midnight to 2 a.m.
It's going to be a fun show, man.
It's WHO After Dark. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, not only is it After Dark when we get to have a lot of fun, but just this game is setting up for a really fun show. I promise you that, man. It's and a ton of Hawkeye fans driving back from Indy, Travis.
Yep.
They might even be coming back tonight. That was my brother's plan initially, so I know we're going to get a pretty good audience tonight. And yeah, I'm excited. It'll be a fun show.
Excellent. All right, buddy. We'll see you after the